How's it going, guys? Jeff with the Motor Mindset channel here. Today we are working on an old Briggs & Stratton. This is a 6 horsepower engine dating to 1967. The way I know it's a 67 is on the fan shroud. Usually it's on the fan shroud or sometimes on the tin on the other side of the cylinder there. You'll have three numbers. You'll have a model, you'll have a type. Let's focus here. Then you can't really read it on the decal there, but this is your code. Your code is the third set of numbers. The first two digits in your code number is your date, and that is 6 and 7. So this is a 1967 engine. Haven't really looked at it. I just picked it up the other day. I know it turns over. It does not have a ton of compression. I don't know any of the history on it. The guy I bought it from was cleaning out his grandpa's place, I guess, and this was one of the items. Looks like it's got a different carb on it. Just going off the paint, they wouldn't have had a white carb on a black engine like that. Oil bath air cleaner, I think. It says clean foam element, so maybe that's not an oil bath. It's got a big long dipstick on it, which is kind of unique. Looks like it's a 1-inch shaft. This big aftermarket muffler setup on it is loose. I don't know what's going on, if the threads are just... maybe the threads are messed up. This is kind of a weird flange thing I haven't really seen before, so I don't know what's going on there. Looks like it's got a newer spark plug in it. Newer, as far as the style goes. I don't believe this whole pulley and the starter cup are Briggs & Stratton. I think those are probably off of like a Kohler or maybe a Wisconsin engine. On the decal it says easy spin starting, so I think that would have been some of these. I don't know if they went up to 6 horsepower, but some of them actually had a handle on. You could fold it out and wind it up, and it would wind up a big clockwork spring, and then you push the button and it releases all the tension, spins the engine over. Kind of an early starter. So I'm wondering if that's what this had originally, but right now it's just got this cup where you wrap the rope around and then give it a yank and hopefully it goes. Let's see, what else can I tell you about it? Haven't checked to see if there's oil in it. I guess we can do that quick. I know nothing about it. Not only is there oil, it's got fresh oil in it. That is clean and shiny and looks full. So maybe this ran not too long ago. What should we do? Should we check it for spark? We should probably check it for spark. Looks like there was a stop switch just kind of hacked in the shroud at one point. The wire just is hanging out. So we'll want to make sure that is not grounded, because if that is, we're not going to get any spark. So let's leave it like that. I'm going to put you in the tripod, get our plug out, and take a look and see if we've got spark. Plug should come out easily. This almost looks like a carb that would have come on like a Tecumseh, like a snowblower. It's going off like the choke style too. It's the same bolt pattern it looks like, so. Spin it over, see if we see anything down there. I can see one valve. I can see the intake valve, open and closing. Can't really see the exhaust valve from here. Rolls over nice and smooth. I see the piston moving up and down, that's a good sign. Maybe let's give it a little shot of oil down there. Just lube things up a bit. It's going to be nice and smoky when we start it up. So, can you see? Maybe. I think I'm going to kill the light too. Let's try that. Let's get our rope out. This seems excessively long. Get our light here. I'm going to put a couple clamps on the edge here quick, just to hold this thing down. Engine is clamped to the bench. Our ground wire isn't touching anything. Oh, this is going to be an easy one. Got a nice bright blue spark. You know what that means. Normally I would use gas, but we've got carb cleaner right here. Just give it a little taste there. Pop our plug back in. This is a, like I said earlier, this is a modern plug. So, I'm guessing it's been running in the last 5-10 years, who knows. Would have been nice to know what it came off of. I think in the 60s, a 6 horsepower engine was decent sized. Could have been a riding lawnmower, something like that. Oh, let's see what we can do without knocking everything off the bench. What do you think? Was that firing or was that just such low compression? How about we pop our air cleaner off? How would I back you up too? Do you think that was the right air cleaner? I don't. What does it say on there? Made in USA. It might be a Briggs & Stratton filter, but it is not for this engine. It's been squished down. Take that off, take that off. We've got... You know, let's just take this little elbow off here for now, I think. This is just the little fitting for the air cleaner anyway. Sure you're enjoying looking at my sleeve while I do this. Oh, come on. I bought this engine in an antique store, of all places. It's actually on Facebook Marketplace. I went to the address and it was an antique store. I met the guy after hours. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe that is the right carb. I don't know. Okay, so choke is open. This is our throttle. Take a peek in there. I don't see a butterfly in there. That's kind of concerning. Can we get some flash going here maybe? Let's see. Tough angle. Is it in there and I just don't see it? Looking way back. The brass in the middle looks like the shaft for the butterfly. Of course, it's not going to focus. Oh, I've got this air cleaner. There we go. Got that bolt right in the way. Or is that wide open right now? Oh, yeah, there it is. I just couldn't see it in the dark. Okay, so that is idle. Choke is off right now. Let's get you popped back in the tripod. Throttle it up. Give it a little shot of carb cleaner. I know gas would be better, but that's not going to hurt it. I couldn't tell that last time. It rolls over so easily. There's so little compression. I couldn't tell if it was firing or if it was just rolling through. So let's try this. That was running. That was certainly running. Let's get a gas tank hooked up to it. Let's maybe give it a little shot of fuel. See what it does. Before I hook the tank up to it, I'm just going to try to feed it with the bottle here. See if it's going to take fuel or if our needle's stuck, if it's going to overflow. Let's just see what happens. That should be enough. Maybe we can tuck that in there. I suspect we will get a lot of compression back once it runs for a little bit, but those rings are just a little gummy. I can smell it. Should we give it some choke? There we go. I don't really want to start it with the drill, but we might have to. There's just nothing there. Well, let's keep trying. Ow. This rope is almost too long. It keeps... I don't know if it's... the engine's firing and it's kind of snagging on the pulley. I don't know what's going on. Might cut a foot of it off and try it again. That's not firing. Let's see if we can give it another shot here. Maybe it just needs a little encouragement. Definitely firing. Underneath the carb here we have, well, fuel leaking, but it looks like there's a tickler. What the tickler does is it will, usually they're on top, it'll hold open, or it'll push down the float, let the carb flood with fuel a little bit. I'm thinking that's what that is. I don't know what else it would be, because it's also got a drain. So maybe we just tickle it a little bit, because it's acting like it's still not getting fuel up. Obviously it went on that little shot of spray there. So maybe our needle's stuck. We'll give it a couple taps. It's tough to tell. This fuel line's pretty dark. It's tough to tell if it's been taking fuel. Tap on the float bowl a little bit. Doesn't take much. Sometimes that does it, most of the time it doesn't, but it's worth a shot. It's like when your starter goes out, you crawl underneath the car and bang on it with something. Hope it fixes it. Usually doesn't. Oh, I don't know. Obviously we're getting fuel in there because it's dripping out of this. I think that's got to be a tickler. I don't know what else it would be. How about we get our fuel line unhooked here. Let's pull this carb off, see what's going on. I don't know if you guys necessarily want to watch me unbolt carbs and stuff like that. It's kind of tedious work. If you do enjoy seeing that stuff, let me know. This is kind of tight. I wonder if we can... Let's at least spin our muffler off here since it's loose anyway. Should give us... yeah, there we go. Gives us a lot more room to get that bolt out. See what's going on with this carb. It could very well be a Briggs & Stratton carb, but I'm not sure. I guess if it bolts up and it works, it doesn't matter. That thing's driving me crazy. Missing a lock washer on the right side there. Not the end of the world. It's interesting, it's got fresh oil in it. Did somebody change oil? Try to get it running? There's a gasket. Did somebody try to get it running and couldn't get it running right? I don't know. Does that bolt even come out? Might not. Not sure if a manufacturer says something there. I can't really read it. I don't know. I think I'm gonna get this guy scooted over, get you a better angle, and we can pop this apart quick. How about that? First, let's crack our drain open here. Well, we'll just pull the bowl off. We weren't getting much for fuel in there, if anything. It's kind of scummy. It's good we pulled it apart. Our needle must be stuck. Or maybe that inlet's plugged. It's our float, obviously. Our float could have a pinhole in it too, but when that happens, the needle never shuts off. So that's unlikely. What we're going to do is we're going to run this through the ultrasonic. We'll get it stripped down. Give it a couple trips through the ultrasonic and see what it looks like after that. There we go. Normally if you shake them and they have fluid in them, you can hear it. So that sounded good. I think I'm going to leave this gasket in. Starting to come out. A lot of times if they're embedded in there, I'll just leave them because they're so fragile when they get old like this. They like to tear, but I guess we'll pop this one out. That's our seat. Looks like a main jet down there. Idle air mixture. You can go grab a screwdriver and we can pop some of that stuff out. Here's our jet. You can see through it all the way. We don't have any clogged holes or anything. Let's maybe try to get our seat out. Sometimes those can be tough. But we will try our best. There we go. Take a look, see what that looks like underneath. Nice and clean. Let's pull our idle mixture out. First we're going to crank it in, see how many turns it is. It's 1.5 turns out. Just so we get a ballpark where to put it when we reassemble. Looks to be in good shape. It's a really, really fine tip on there. If you bottom them out too hard, you run the risk of breaking it off inside the carb. There's not really much else I can pull off of this. You don't really want to pull these apart because those screws, if they aren't tight when you put them back together, can rattle out. They can get into your engine and wreak all sorts of havoc in there. So we'll take our high-tech little ultrasonic basket, get all of that stuff pulled out. So that's not a tickler, I don't think. No, that would push the float up. Is that just a drain? That's just a drain. I've never seen a spring-loaded one like that. That's kind of unique. Well, that's interesting too, because the nut that holds the float bowl on. What is going on here? You can see all the way through that. Interesting. Well, we don't need to run this gasket through here. Ultrasonic is warming up. I'm going to get this stuff all dunked in there, run it through 3 or 4 times. Get a little low on juice in there. float for good measure. Just poking around while the ultrasonic's running. There isn't a ton of carbon in the exhaust, but what I think is interesting is in the intake. Check out the porting job they did at the factory. That's kind of dicey. You'd think they would have smoothed that out. Obviously, there's a valve, and there's a valve. They both move up and down. This collar is just like a reducer. The threads inside are bigger, and I guess they wanted to run this just standard pipe. So we're just waiting on our carb at this point. Through the power and magic of television or video or whatever you'd like to call this medium, carburetor's clean. I let it soak for a couple days and it actually took a lot of that paint off. Not a big deal, no big loss. Ran it through the ultrasonic cleaner half a dozen times. Just blew it out, just got it bolted back up. We're going to leave our air cleaner off for now just because I don't know how it's going to act. Just popped the fuel line on. I haven't filled the bowl yet. Would not surprise me if it leaked. That big bowl gasket was kind of crispy, but I don't see anything that looks too bad. Give a little squeeze here. That should be good. Kind of tough to hold the bottle up and wrap a rope and yank on it, so just fill that float bowl for now. If it does take off, I'll get that bottle hooked back up and then we can maybe run it for a little bit. Maybe we need some choke. Ooh, that reminds me. It's got this little throttle return spring on it. It's obviously not original, but I'm going to leave it on just because I don't want it taken off on me. Alright, well, see what she does. I don't know. Doesn't have a ton of compression. Let's see. I feel like I've said that 25 times in this video. Let's get a little shot there. Maybe I didn't fill that the float bowl up enough. Yeah, it's not picking up fuel. Ooh, that's full. Got kind of like a funny overflow. The nut for the float bowl has a hole in the middle of it. I don't know if it's just missing a plug or something. Doesn't really seem like that's right, but that could just be an overflow. If the needle doesn't shut off the fuel flow, the excess could drain out there. Maybe open up our fuel mixture a little bit. Doesn't want to fire on gas. Definitely smell gas. Give it another shot, I guess. I know that float bowl is full now. Yeah, it's not picking up that fuel. I wonder if that nut, that float bowl nut, is supposed to have a plug in it or something. I'm gonna try to plug that with maybe a cork or a stopper and see if that's our issue. My thought was, if that hole's open, maybe the carburetor won't function properly. The Venturi effect won't draw fuel because it's got such a big air leak coming from there. I don't know. It's the hole inside is threaded, so it almost looks like it's missing something. I don't know. But I got it plugged up now, so we'll see if that makes a difference. Well, I didn't spray it that time, so should have run longer than that, though, I would think. Is it flooded now? What do we think? Did I tighten that plug? I did. We might want to pop the plug out, see if it's wet, see what it looks like. Because we are not getting anything now. How much longer do you guys want to watch me pull on this thing? Responded well to choke. Okay. As long as it's run so far. Maybe let's turn that mixture back in. Put it back where it was. I wasn't messing with it, as you guys saw. Yeah, I like that half choke spot, so. Need 3 hands. I can't feed it in, run the throttle, and do it all at once. I wonder if that idle's just set too low on there. Let's bump that up a little bit. Fill up that float bowl. Put a second clamp on it too. It seemed a little shaky. Let's try that. Okay. Still got fuel in the line, so maybe I should quit trying to feed it. Let's see if we can. There we go. it want? What do you guys think? It's got fuel. Choke now. Doesn't like choke. I think we should bump that idle up a little more. Oh, come on. That sounds pretty good. Did we run it out of fuel? Yeah. There's still a little bit in there. Let's fill our line back up. This is premix. Kind of started to spray all over the place here, didn't it? Yes, let's drip gasoline on our hot exhaust. Let's try it again. It died when I backed that idle off, so maybe give her a little more. Wouldn't be a will it run video until I shake the light down. Sketchy. Well, I don't know how much longer you guys want to hear this thing run. Obviously it does run. I would say that's a success. 25 bucks well spent. This engine will be for sale. If you want to buy it, send me an email. The email address is motormindset1@gmail.com. If you like the video, please subscribe, leave me a comment, and if you didn't like the video, leave me a comment anyway. I like reading that stuff too. So until next time, thanks for watching.